God is the light of the heavens and the earth. How does His light come into the world? And the only answer based upon this ayah is, well, it's complicated. It doesn't seem to shine directly. It seems to come through, there's a lamp and there's a niche and there's a tree and the oil. So I think, is it possible that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us that these beautiful qualities like nur, like rahmah, that they don't just fall from the sky, but they come into the world through channels, through mediators. And if we're going to live this religion, and if we're going to represent this religion to one another and to the world, we have to begin offering ourselves to be the channels through which Allah's mercy comes into the world. We're begging for mercy all the time, and yet we're not willing to be merciful to each other. We're begging for forgiveness all the time from Allah, but we're not willing to forgive other people. We're begging for Allah, Ar-Razaq, Ya Razaq, provide for me, but we're not willing to share what we have with other people. If we want to seek these things from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have to be willing to extend them to a world which is having very little light these days. We have to extend the mercy to a world which is becoming increasingly cruel and brutal. We have to be willing to extend forgiveness to the world so that people can feel like there's a chance for them to change and to transform. We have many, many accounts of white supremacists and others who were haters of Islam and became friends and allies of the Muslims because of the good behavior of a Muslim. Maybe the Muslim treated them to breakfast at a restaurant, or maybe the Muslim went up and spoke to them kindly when they were protesting and saying terrible things outside of a masjid. If we want to truly live in this deen, we have to be willing, like the Prophet himself did, alayhi salatu wassalam, to be a channel through which Allah's qualities are experienced and known in this world. And so we should really, as the night gets dark and the night gets deep, we should end with this idea of light. In a world where people are behaving badly, in a world where people are doing violence, in a world where people are perpetrating the dhulumat, the Quran always says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent the revelations to take people out of the dhulumat, يُخْرِجُهُمْ, to take them out of the dhulumat and bring them into the nur, the light. We remember from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from Rabb al-Falaq, the Lord of the light who splits the darkness. We remember that only light dispels darkness. My children will always say, well, I did that to him because she did that to me. That's a good human argument. And we make that argument all the time, but it's not Islam. It's not Islam. In Islam, we understand that darkness is not removed by darkness. Darkness is removed by light. And so if we are going to do the business of this religion, we have to be helping hands in lifting people out of the darknesses and bringing them into the light. And for many people, before we even talk about religion, that means lifting them out of situations of danger and bringing them to safety. It means lifting them out of hunger and bringing them food. You know, when the Quran talks about da'wah, it never says, you call the people to yourselves. We're always like, hey man, come over to me. And I had some beautiful teacher long ago when I was Catholic and studying in the Middle East. I had this beautiful Palestinian old man who used to come to me. Oh, you want to learn Arabic? Come, I'll teach you some Arabic. Just say this after me. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Very sweet, right? Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Just say that, I'll teach you some Arabic. Yeah. very sweet. But the idea is that before we try to bring people to us, we know that we're not living the deen perfectly. The Quran always says, call the world ilallah. Call the world to the good. And if Allah is justice, before I call them to the deen, I should call the world to justice. Before I call the world to us and have, let's sit on the floor and eat something Saudi style or something. Before I try to make them look like me or think like me, I should call them to truth, call them to justice, call them to Allah, as the Quran says. And when we call the world to God, we are calling the world to a higher state. And when we're calling the world to a higher state, and when you're standing for justice, and you're standing for human dignity, and you're standing for the poor, and you're standing for the environment, and you're standing for the end of domestic violence, and you're standing for the protection of vulnerable people, trust me, people will just come up to you and say, brother, sister, what is your religion? Like, what makes you live like this? When your home becomes a refuge for other children. I had a Muslim brother the other day say to me, oh man, I went home, we have 5 already, and then there was another one there, I told my wife, we have 5 already. Like, 6 is too much. I said, be grateful that your home is a refuge for a child who needs a refuge. Be grateful, because Allah is the mu'min, the refuge for us. So our home should be open. It doesn't matter what religion or ethnicity that child comes from. Our home should be refuges, should be safe places, should be places of warmth and food and protection for anyone who is seeking it. And at some point, when people see us living this way, because virtue is attractive, it's beautiful. People didn't convert to Islam because the Prophet ﷺ was harsh and mean-spirited. He always focused on the good in the people around him. And he built them up, and he said something good. Oh man, you're so good at this. You are the best in this. And by the way, you might want to work on that one thing that you're not doing so well. But if people see the joy, right, that this religion should be, if we're not joyful, if we are not grateful, if we are not channeling nur to each other, if we are not opening our homes as refuges, what are we doing? Allah has given us, entrusted to us this incredible religion which contains so many of the solutions the world needs right now. And our job is to begin living it. And so, humbly, I have to say I'm calling myself on the carpet first and foremost. I'm not up here pretending that I'm doing it perfectly, not at all. And I give thanks every time I make my wudu that Allah has given me a chance to remember that my speech is sacred and I should cleanse my mouth of anything bad or any yelling that I've done. I'm grateful for the fact that I can wash my hands and remind myself that I can ask Allah's forgiveness for anything bad that I've done or anything that I should have done but I didn't do. Allah is constantly calling me back to my higher self. And so I'm on the path like you are. I'm struggling like everyone else in this room is. And our job as brothers and sisters is to help each other do that. It's not easy. And it's not going to be easy in the days ahead. But we have to be firm in our belief. We have to be strong in our hope. We have to be joyful and grateful that Allah has given us this time. And we have to aspire to do our best to make this chapter of Islamic history an inspiration for future Muslims who look back and say, how did they do it? The darkness is growing. There's only one solution for that. That the light of Allah has to become visible. And there's only one way we're going to do that. And it's not by buying a lamp in a niche and getting a tree. It's going to be by offering yourself to be that light. I say these things, dear sisters and brothers, and I seek God's forgiveness. And as I close, I just want to remember one thing. You know, Muhammad Ali was not a perfect guy. You know, he had lots of children and had a couple of different mothers there, and this isn't the fact that the brother lived a perfect, pristine life. And I really didn't come into his life as his spiritual advisor in the way many people have said. I came into his life 11 years or so before he died because he wanted to make sure that his funeral was everything he wanted it to be for everyone in the world. For all faiths, for all people. He wanted indigenous chiefs on the stage. He wanted rabbis on the stage. He wanted Buddhist monks on the stage. But he wanted everything to be done in a way that was impeccably Islamic. And so when I first came into that conversation, it was, well, you know, Dr. Timothy, can we do this? Is it possible? So we started working through all these scenarios. For 10 years, I had a bag packed. And thanks to my Hamdani brothers, who were the givers, the gifters of the first of the shrouds, because we ended up using a couple of them on him, because so many people loved him so much. But what really transformed the people around him was not that he was a great scholar, or that he had an incredible prayer record of being at the mosque for every prayer. I mean, I don't know. But the one thing that I witnessed around him is that he loved people. And people loved him. It went beyond religion. It went beyond ethnicity. Everyone came up to me with their stories, whether I was in Phoenix, where he passed away, may Allah be merciful to him, and we washed him and prepared him, or in Louisville, where he was buried. Everyone came up to me with stories about how he came to my kindergarten class, or how he came into the locker room when I lost a boxing fight, and I expected him only to go to the winner's room, or how he wrote a check so he could buy a fridge when our fridge broke, or whatever it was. And the one thing that I noticed, Imam Zaid and I both, is we were right behind the hearse that's carrying the coffin through the city of Louisville, going through the poorest streets of Louisville where there are shootings every day, but not that day. No one was left in the homes. The children were there, the adults were there, the blacks, the whites, the browns, Christians, Jews, Muslims, atheists, drug dealers, everybody was out. The police who were there to keep the rows were weeping. They were weeping as the hearse went by. People were casting flowers in front of the hearse and just going up to touch the hearse. Children were holding signs saying, "Thank you, Muhammad Ali." What were they thanking him for? It was because he gave people dignity. He gave people dignity. He gave people hope. He cared about people. And even though the rich and the powerful were the ones who always wanted to be around him, his heart was always with the poor. And so Imam Zaid and I were watching this. Hundreds of thousands of people. Not a single violent incident. Hundreds of thousands of people. And we said, the only word we have in Arabic for this is wilayah. When God says, when God loves a servant, God will cause Gabriel and the angels to love him, and they will cause the people of the earth to love that brother. That belovedness was more important than the scholarship, was more important than any of the mistakes he made. This was a brother who loved humanity, and who was experienced by all of these people as a giver of mercy and a giver of dignity. And on the streets of Louisville that night, the city of Louisville, Kentucky was transformed into a city of love. I remember I was exhausted at that point, and I left Salah and Hussein at the Muhammad Ali Center. I just had to go catch up on my prayer, and I just needed really just a few minutes to be in silence. And as I walked back to the hotel, there's a guy playing the banjo on the street, like a 75-year-old African-American brother playing the banjo. Sir, sir, sir. I said, what? I didn't think he was talking to me, but then I realized he was talking, I just want to thank you for everything you did for the chant. And I was like, oh man, it was a privilege, it was a privilege. And then as I kept walking, people were running out of the cafes and bars because they'd just seen me, right? So they're running out, wow, you knew him. And then all these hijabi girls from Tennessee come out and they're throwing their arms around me, right? And I'm thinking, oh my God, these hijabi girls are throwing their arms around me. And then their dad comes out and he throws his arms around me. And they're all taking selfies because the city of Louisville was just transformed. For no reason other than this brother lived a life of love and service. It was not about boxing, it never was. It was about love, it was about dignity, it was about rahmah. And if one man, one simple brother, without much education, if one simple brother could transform lives like this, in a way that touched everybody, it didn't matter, Muslim, Jew, Christian, it didn't matter. That he brought us together in this love. It was an incredible thing to experience. And it was so deeply educational to me because what it showed me is that if one person in this room begins to live what we've talked about tonight, the world is going to change. And if two people start living what we're talking about tonight, the world is going to change more. And if we as an ummah awaken to the profundity and the power of this deen, then there's still hope for the rescue of this planet and for the rescue of its people. May God bless you. I thank you for sacrificing your time. And I ask Allah somehow, some way to give us some benefit in what we've talked about tonight and to inspire us all to leave this room ready to live, ready to rise to the level of the Sunnah, and ready to rise to the level of combating the darkness with light. Assalamu alaikum wa jazakumullahu khair.